Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something really important, especially if you're learning or, supporting students, sleep deprivation and how it just hammers teenage memory.
It really does.
We've sifted through quite a bit, studies, articles, research findings, and our mission here is, well, pretty straightforward. Pull out the crucial insights on why sleep is so vital for teenage memory.
Yeah, it's often underestimated. Teenagers getting less than that recommended 8 to 10 hours. They face a massive jump, maybe 20 to even 65% in forgetting things they've learned.
Wow, 65%.
It's significant. And it's not just, I had one bad night. It affects learning, whether it's acute sleep loss or, chronic. It fundamentally undermines the whole process.
Okay, so where does it start? Where does the memory process begin to, fall apart?
It really starts right at the beginning with encoding. That's the brain initially grabbing the information.
Like taking the picture.
Exactly. And when teens are sleep deprived, their focus just tanks. Studies show around a 23% drop in concentration.
23%. Okay.
So it's much harder for the brain to properly, take in and process anything new. And, crucially, scans show less activity in the hippocampus, that's the brain's memory center, during learning when you're sleep deprived.
So it's like trying to record something important with a really staticky microphone.
That's a great analogy. Yeah, the initial recording is just compromised.
Right, okay, so even if some information gets in, despite the static, what then?
Well, that's where consolidation comes in. And sleep is just absolutely essential for this part. Consolidation is basically making memories stable, moving them to long-term storage.
Making them stick.
During deep sleep, the hippocampus is busy. It replays the learning from the day, strengthening connections between brain cells, that's synaptic strengthening, and even helps generate new brain cells there, which is vital for new memories.
Okay, wow.
But if you restrict sleep, say down to 5 hours or less a night, that consolidation efficiency can drop by over a third pretty quickly, like within just 3 days.
Over 30% less effective consolidation. That feels like a huge waste of study effort.
It absolutely is. All that time spent learning, significantly undercut by not getting enough sleep.
So then, fast forward to needing that information, like for a test. What happens at recall?
Recall gets much tougher too. Sleep-deprived teens might forget something like 26% more within just 30 minutes of learning it.
Just half an hour.
Yeah, and pulling information out later, much harder. They're also, interestingly, more prone to forming false memories. It's like your brain's filing system is a mess. The info might technically be in there, but finding it reliably, good luck.
Okay, so let me recap. Less focus going in, the storage process is weakened, and then it's harder to retrieve it accurately. It's kind of hitting every stage.
Pretty much, yes.
It's no wonder this has real consequences for school.
Oh, absolutely. The data is pretty stark. You compare teens who are sleep restricted to those who are well rested. Memory test scores can really drop. We've seen differences of like 40 points on a 200-point test in some studies.
40 points is huge.
It is. And think long-term retention. After maybe 6 weeks, consistent poor sleep could mean retaining only 35% of material, compared to nearly 100% for rested peers. And that 23% increase in concentration errors we mentioned, that translates directly to, poorer grades, more academic struggles.
And I get the sense this isn't just a temporary blip if it keeps happening.
That's the worry. Chronic sleep deprivation during these crucial teenage years. There's evidence suggesting potential long-term brain changes, maybe even reduced hippocampal volume, changes in how new brain cells form.
Seriously, permanent changes.
Well, the studies, particularly animal models, suggest it's a risk we need to take seriously. And even short-term chronic effects are bad, like forgetting up to 65% more classroom material after just 6 weeks, plus potentially being more vulnerable down the line to things like stress-related memory disorders.
Okay, this is sounding pretty serious, so what helps? Because just telling a teenager go to bed earlier doesn't always cut it.
No, it's definitely a challenge. But the evidence is really strong for prioritizing good sleep habits. The basics. Consistent sleep schedules, a wind-down routine, limiting screens before bed. That stuff actually works.
Right, the sleep hygiene basics.
Exactly. And interestingly, there's also evidence from schools that have actually shifted to later start times. They often report real, measurable improvements in academic outcomes for their students.
Aligning the school day with their biology a bit more.
It seems to help, yeah. Suggesting system-level changes can make a difference, too.
So, wrapping this up, the big takeaway seems crystal clear. Sleep isn't passive downtime, right? For teenagers, it's fundamentally part of the learning and memory machinery.
Absolutely essential.
And skimping on it has really tangible costs, not just for grades tomorrow, but potentially for their long-term brain health.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Which really leaves us with a big question for you, the listener, to think about. Given everything we know about how critical sleep is for teenage learning and memory, what does that mean for us as a society? How should we maybe restructure things, like school schedules, or better support adolescent sleep needs?
That's a heavy question.
It is. It goes beyond just individual habits and asks how we can create environments that truly foster learning and well-being for young people, something to chew on.